checking out those Newmarket numbers today. So we're going to have a look at July 21 to start. So we had 159 new listings come to market, 144 sales through the month, and 82 active listings. Now, if you don't watch my videos regularly, active listings are what didn't sell and carry into the next month. June 22, we had 193 new listings come to market, and this is across all home types, by the way. 94 sales through the month, 173 active listings, which carried into July. July, 146 new listings came to market, so down about 25%, not abnormal getting into the summer months. 68 sales, that's down actually a fair chunk from the month before, and 162 active listings. So again, not shocked to see that decline as well. Many times through the summertime, especially not this year notwithstanding, I think a lot of people are, we're through a lot of the lockdowns, pandemic, things like that, so people are out doing other things right now. So I'm not actually surprised to see these numbers the way they are. Looking at the money, $1,092,000 was the average sale price in Newmarket across all home types a year ago. $1,144,000 in June 22, and actually staying fairly strong, $1,126,000. In other markets, we're actually seeing where we're down from the year previous, right, to there. So we're actually still holding fairly strong. Newmarket, I would say, out of all the videos that I do and the in terms of the stats that I track, I would say Newmarket's actually probably the strongest right now. The SNLR, known as the sales to new listings ratio, also known as the absorption rate, it tells us out of the homes coming on the market each month, what is the percentage of them that are actually selling. So a year ago, 90.6% of the homes that came on the market in July 21 sold. 48.7% of the homes that came on the market in June sold. Currently trending at 46.6% of the homes that came on the market in July 22 sold. Now we're looking at this. This is how we're actually determining whether it's a buyer or seller's market. So when we're under the 50% number, it's indicative of a buyer's market. It's telling us that there is more supply than there is demand. Between 50 and 60% is a balanced market, so enough supply to meet the demand. Then when we start getting over 60%, then that's telling us that there is more demand than there is supply. Months of inventory remaining tells us out of the homes that have come on the market, if no other homes came on the market after today at the current rate of selling or the current rate of consumption, buying, if you will, how long would it take to deplete the inventory? So a year ago, 0.6, so around half a month of inventory, a couple weeks, 1.8 in June, and currently trending at 2.2, 2.4. So again, when I'm looking at other surrounding area markets, we're seeing these numbers double that. So again, Newmarket's actually still a fairly, I would say, fairly hot moving market right now. But you have to remember the way that this is calculated, it's looking at sales divided by active listings when you're looking at months of inventory. So we saw a fairly drastic reduction here, and we're still fairly close in the amount of actually active listings. So to be honest, even despite the number of sales being way down, this is not a really huge number. So that's one thing I think you got to consider, and that's where I would say, in other videos I've explained, going back to these numbers, not just looking at the percentages, but I think Newmarket's actually doing fairly well. July 21, homes were selling 105% of asking, 98% in June, currently trending at 98.1. And to get a home sold, you were looking 14 days a year ago, 16 in June, currently trending at 17. So, I've said this in other videos, you got to really take this number now with a grain of salt, because when you were looking at a year ago, 14 days to get a home sold, that was pretty realistic. But right now what we're seeing is homes are being canceled or terminated or suspended, then they're being relisted at a different price. So this number only takes into account what it takes to get that home sold under the current listing. So if you were to track that home through the full extent, and I'm not saying some homes aren't selling in 2 or 3 days, because they are, but I would say, this number being average, there's a lot of homes that are out there that are in 30 and 40 days sort of area to get themselves sold. If you looked at the entire span of however many listings it's taken to get that home at the right number or the right price or introduced to the right buyer. So hey, folks, I hope you found this information helpful. Any questions at all about how this information translates to your Newmarket home, or if you're considering making a change this year or making a purchase, please feel free to reach out to me.